You know, like growing up, people are like, oh, we hooked up. I still to this day don't know what that means.
I think it means sex.
Depends on your age.
Do you really? Like if you say, oh, we made out, right?
I always considered it sex.
Really?
Hooked up when I was in high school meant sex.
Really? Okay.
In high school?
Wow.
Yeah, high school.
Yeah.
Not for you?
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Loud Snackers. Woo! We have a new episode for all of you. This is episode number
11.
Great. And we have some snacks brought to us by our amazing guest, Soojin Kim.
Yay!
Hi.
Welcome to our show.
Yeah.
Thank you for having
And
me.
before this episode, we were all pining over what the hell we're going to talk about. And she was asking us what we usually do to plan. And the thing is, we don't plan at all. We just say, hey, let's talk about whatever. And in this case, we're going to talk about these snacks. So we have Trader Joe's California Persimmons unsweetened and unsulfured. Very important to have no sulfur in your persimmons.
Why would you normally sulfur it?
I have no idea. Coconut rolls. This looks like
looks awesome.
pirouettes.
You guys have never had that?
I've never had
It's really
this.
good. Try it.
This smells really good.
Okay, try.
I'm just gonna check the crunch factor on this.
Okay.
There's no crunch.
Just a soft.
Yeah, it was like it just kind of melted into my mouth.
Is that good or bad?
It was nice. It's flaky.
Yeah.
It's not what you
It's really good. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had like some milk or something. I am lactose intolerant though. Actually, earlier this week, I went over to your house and I had stuffed crust pizza with a lot of cheese inside. And as a child, I loved that. Sorry, I'm talking with my mouth full, but I tried that for the first time in over a decade, and
Yeah.
I had diarrhea. It was really bad, and I realized that it is so true that Asians get lactose intolerant as they get older.
A
and
lot
it's-
of Asians, yeah.
Yeah. Not you.
Not me, no.
Okay, that's a
But I
flex.
just prefer non-dairy. It's just a preference.
Oh wait, so you don't drink that much milk?
No,
Or
I don't
like
drink any cow milk
and-
at all.
Oh,
I
'cause like my mom, she's in her 60s, right? Something like that, right? And she still like drinks like cow's milk to this day, like for whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that she probably is lactose, but because she's continuously exposing herself to it, it's like her
She's always
body's-
challenging herself.
so her body's pretty like used to it, so it doesn't fight
Right.
her. Whereas me, like there was like a period of time when I didn't drink that much milk.
Yeah.
And so, but now I'm coming back into it because of my kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like initially when I first started again, I was pretty lactose.
Oh,
Now
okay.
I'm like kind of like
And that was new. That's never happened.
no, because when I was a kid, I was not at all.
Yeah,
Right.
it's so discouraging when you first get your first lactose intolerant diarrhea. You know,
What is that like?
I just really love milk. I really do. I used to drink like a whole gallon every like 2 or 3 days.
I mean, there's just so many different alternatives now, though. Like,
Yeah.
it tastes
Yeah.
better.
Does it?
I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of scary to
Ooh,
to
okay,
say,
so what's
but-
better?
What do you mean? Which non-dairy?
Yeah.
yeah, because you said you don't like cow milk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I prefer to drink flaxseed milk.
Okay, they're gonna say like goat milk or
No,
something.
no, flaxseed milk.
I mean, that's pretty not similar, but just as
Never had it before.
I don't know what the word is. Like fancy? Is that the word? Is
It's bougie?
Oh, bougie. Yeah. Is that bougie?
I don't know, but it was really hard to find in the very beginning.
Okay.
But now it's like everywhere, like Target, whatever.
But for a time, you had really high taste. You like that rare
Yeah,
milk.
Well, not me
Your
per se.
son.
It was it was Jordan, and then
drink
He's like,
anything.
oh, this is a bougie
and
little
then,
boy.
Well, he's like, yeah, and then I tried it, and I was like, oh, I see why he likes. It's actually really good.
Is it sweet? Because I know almond milk is sweeter, right?
There's different flavors. There's like the vanilla flavor and the original. There's like different sweetness levels, I guess, with the flavors. But
So fancy.
See, that's the thing.
I mean-
Almond milk. It's always disappointing. Like when I drink it, I'm like, oh, I want that like
Really?
richness, and then it just kind of disappears. It has this empty flavor to it, like not the sweetened kind.
So I'm so basic that I just drink regular milk. So I
Yeah.
don't know
Just straight
what
out of the
milk-
cow.
oh,
yeah.
oh my gosh! So you've never had like almond milk?
I've
Coconut milk?
You don't get diarrhea.
Soy milk.
Human milk?
No, I think I've had like, okay, so right now the big thing is oat milk. I feel.
Oh yeah, I don't
milk
like
is so
it. I'm
dry.
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, and especially LA. That's why I'm so surprised. The fact that you only drink
Yeah.
cow milk, because I feel like here,
basic.
Starbucks, you're like, okay, well, what non-dairy milk would you like? They don't even like just accept the fact that like you would want cow milk.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah.
But
You still drink cow milk?
Yeah. Like I eat cereal, not like
You don't
every
get
day.
the.
No, because I drink it because I drink
Lucky.
it pretty regularly. It's good.
How
you're-
long did that take you?
Probably like
years?
6 months to a year, something like
See-
It's a
that.
long time.
see, my question is,
It wasn't worth it.
that was, yeah.
Because like I love cereal. Cereal is like one of
You're
my
telling me I need to do this for a whole damn year
Do you want it or
long.
not?
just because I want Lucky Charms? I gotta go through all
I
that.
can see him in the bathroom like, I can't give up now. I'm already like 8 months
He's
in.
already
I'm
6 months
already
in.
there, you know?
I mean, it wasn't a struggle. Okay, I
Yeah.
enjoyed the food that much that it didn't bother me enough to stop.
My question is, who was the first one to try cow milk?
That's what I'm wondering.
yeah.
You know, who was hungry enough?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that
Dad, I
cow
have to
tit
try.
looks kind of inviting.
Yeah.
Because like breast milk has been around obviously forever, and then so like some person was like,
Obviously.
some person's like, oh man, I can't get any more of that.
Yeah.
So I need to get it from somewhere else. Where's the most?
Wait, why can't he get any
Possible-
more of that?
I mean, is
Oh, he like grew up?
yeah, he grew up. Or, like,
Mom's not giving me that anymore. I gotta go look for
I
something
gotta go
else.
find it somewhere else. And the dad's like, don't get it from that cow.
But the cow looks
But it's like-
so inviting. Like, come on, just try, you know? So that could be the
It's
case.
like when the farmer's like, you know what? That could work.
That could work.
Let's try it. And then
I can see that being like,
Yeah. No, the guy had to be a pervert. Like, he's not looking in like, you know, no one in their right mind's like, I gotta just try that,
Yeah.
you know.
he was doing something cakey, and then it turned out to be like nutritious.
Yeah.
And I could see that.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's a
Okay.
sad origin story of milk. I suppose.
Enough about milk for once.
I know, we talked a long time about milk.
Let's ask some questions for Soojin, because
Yeah.
we
Yes.
do not really know
Yeah.
Soojin very well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very true.
Q&A.
Q&A.
Okay. Oh, you're asking me questions?
Yeah.
And I can ask
well,
you
you can ask
questions?
us questions
Okay.
too,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
you know, yeah.
Which one do you prefer?
You guys can start.
Okay.
Okay.
Go.
So what was your childhood like?
Oh, wow. That's like, do we have a box of tissue?
Okay, I didn't know it was like that. Okay.
Like for us though. Like
yeah,
we're just
yeah,
like,
For you guys, yeah. That's how most therapy sessions start, right? Like, oh, let's talk about your childhood. Like,
That's-
your, where do you originate from? Like all of that. So I think that's a really good question. But I mean, there's so much to unravel, obviously. I'm
Well,
in
just
my
to
30s
give you a
now.
launching point,
Yeah.
I'm coming from a standpoint of I see you, and we met at church, and so
Yeah.
my first impression is like loving mother,
Yeah.
a loving wife, like
Yeah.
just like a family woman. Of course, there's a context behind that, but then
Of
for me,
course.
it's like I just see the face value.
Yeah,
right?
I
So
mean, I definitely wasn't born as a mom and as a wife,
that's
so
news to
for
me.
sure.
You know, so
Okay, my childhood. Let's see.
Where are you from?
Okay, I grew up in Downey, California.
Okay, so near
Downey.
in LA. In LA
yeah,
County.
yeah, LA.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess that's considered LA County. It is, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I grew up in Downey basically my whole life, and I'm the only child.
oh, really?
Yes.
Would you say it's true that only children are weird?
Oh.
You know that there is
Yeah.
that reputation.
I mean, because I think I am a little bit different, but not because I'm the only child, but I think just my childhood was just a little bit rougher than I think what people have imagined it would be. Like you said, oh, I met you in church and
Right.
you're a mom and you're a wife, and so and I'm a very happy person, but then I feel like there's a lot that happened in my childhood that got me to this point. A lot of therapy, a lot of just opening up and sharing about my life and listening to what other people have gone through, and I don't know, just finding that common ground to kind of get over a lot of trauma.
So your happiness currently is like a choice that you made through like strengthening yourself.
I think
throughout
it's
the years.
definitely a choice.
Yeah.
I think happiness is definitely a choice that I think every morning you have to decide, okay, am I going to have a good day or a bad day? I think there's always going to be obstacles, but it's like, how am I going to overcome it? Like in general, am I going to just make this a good day or a really shitty day? And so I try really hard to make it a good day.
Was that difficult to get to that point?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Like I said, I did a lot of therapy. I started therapy in college. So I started, I wanted to start in high school, but I didn't know how to start. And then in college, it was nice because, you know, there's so many different like counselors that you can go to, and then you can ask about therapy. And so I started getting therapy in college, and I never really stopped. Right now we're doing marriage counseling. So I don't do personal therapy anymore because my therapist actually kept pushing me to get a divorce recently, which
That's
told
professional advice.
Yeah, very professional advice that I was not ready for, and I kept putting it. It's like okay, well, like let's find alternatives, you know. And that went on for a good like month and a half, and I was like, you know what, this is more stressful for me to like argue and prove that I want to stay in this marriage. So I decided to stop with that counselor or that therapist and just focus on marriage counseling with my husband. At the same time, I just don't want to put in the effort to break up with a therapist because I could eventually go back. I always thought like, you know, one day I could call you again if I need that sort of advice.
Yeah, but honestly, I'd rather break up with you than my husband. So
exactly. So it was really weird. She kept telling me like, oh, you don't need to be in this marriage. I'm like, yeah, I know I don't need to, but obviously I know it's not obvious. I want to, so I need your support, a professional advice on how to keep going on with my day-to-day life and stay in this marriage.
That's scary though. Like to come across somebody that has that type of advice where it's like kind of kind of goes against like what you're trying to do in the first place.
Well, so I think it goes back to my childhood because I think she obviously has heard so much about my childhood. She was just like, you know, you're replaying a lot of the things that have been going on in your life. Why do you want to do this again? Why do you want to do this to your children? And, you know, so on. And so I think that's why she kind of made a decision for me to go the opposite route. And I didn't agree with her.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Do you consider yourself to be an introverted person?
No, I'm 100%
Really?
extroverted.
So what does that really mean? Like I know that some people
I
think
did
like
the test.
Oh, really?
They told me.
An online test is the best.
Well,
the best test.
Do you feel so? I'm a very extroverted person.
Okay.
So like when you are around people, do
Yeah.
you gain energy and do you feel like more like
Well, I think I definitely want to be around people, but at the same time, because I am only child, this goes back to maybe the weirdness, I do need to recharge by myself a lot of the time. So I guess that makes me a little bit introverted in that sense where every weekend, like I want to plan things, I want to see friends, I want to do things, I want to talk to people. But at the same time, I also at night, like at 8 p.m., I don't want to talk to anybody, you know, so I definitely need that.
We're like past. It's like 8:05 right now.
Yeah, so I'm
So we
gonna
gotta
leave soon.
Hurry this up.
I was like, what? That's serious.
She looks like she's losing interest
Such a
by
good
the minute. Yeah, I mean, I always thought that I was introverted too, because for like honestly, when I have to go and meet people, I'm always like my first reaction is like, I just want to stay inside. Read Harry Potter.
Initial.
Yeah, initially, and then when I go, I feel like, oh, this is kind of fun though.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, like I don't hate them. You know, like that's kind of nice.
I don't hate them.
So I feel like that's kind of the way that I am. So it's like I am kind of both. Like I prefer being alone. But then when I go out and see people, I'm like, hey, this isn't so bad.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's almost like an inverse of what you do.
Yeah. Like I make a ton of plans, and then by the end of the week, I'm so burnt out. And so I have like low chi. My acupuncturist tells me that because I use up so much of my battery like with people, just with my day-to-day activities. I do too much.
I have like a unending battery when it comes to people.
Oh,
I could just go.
so you're really like 1,000% extroverted.
Yeah, he like really likes being around people.
Okay.
100%. Like
Okay.
I could be around my friends 24/7. I'd be fine.
Yeah.
What if you're not? What happens? Like during the pandemic, what happened?
Well, ever since I had kids, my whole life changed. So like it was rough at first but it wasn't rough because I didn't see people. It was just like, oh, my life is very different now.
For sure, yeah.
So like, but then, I mean, because for the first like 4 to 6 months, it's like your child is like, you love them, but then they don't really do anything, you know, they're just
Right.
kind of there, you know,
Yeah.
and then you just keep them alive. That's like
Yeah.
it's like survival, and you're so tired all the time. So like the first like, maybe within the first 2 months, I was like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna ever see people again in the normal way, right? I was like, oh, that's a bummer. But then like I got over that pretty quickly. That maybe took about a couple days to like kind of snap out of that realization. So since then, I haven't really seen that many people.
So you
I'm
had like a
fine.
little bit of like postpartum. you could
I
say,
mean, but then
for a
like
few
I never
days.
like, but it wasn't even like, it was just like I would think about it for like a minute, like that sucks. Oh well, and then I just kind of keep move on kind of thing. But then it was, so now I'm very used to it, and
Right.
like now I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
It's been almost 5 years now. So
Dude,
it's like fun.
you've overcome so many things like postpartum, like lactose intolerance.
Yeah.
I gotta follow you gotta write a book, man. I
know.
gotta read that. It's crazy.
It's, yeah. But then when it comes to being extroverted, like I could just jump right back into it. So like,
Right.
So when I see my friends, it's not like I know exactly how to, it's like, it doesn't like, I'm like, oh, I'm excited to go see them. And now that my kids are older,
Yeah.
they can kind of, you know, they're a little bit more self-sufficient and stuff like that. So it's kind of easier to go out now.
Yeah.
So it's not, so now it's like more.
Now it's time to get
available.
wild.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
I mean, you know,
Binging.
whatever. Yeah, just
Yeah.
go crazy.
Well, we are gonna go to Vegas. So.
Yeah, we
Are you really?
Bachelor.
Oh my God.
party
Okay.
In Vegas.
Okay. I want to hear all about it. What are the plans?
We're gonna go straight to Chippendale.
Wait, so like, okay,
Get
would
hired
you
there.
go to a strip club?
I would not.
Why?
I personally would not because I actually don't find that amusing. Actually,
So have you been?
I've never been. But like, should I try everything just
Yeah.
to just like
should.
check it out?
I
and, like,
honestly, so when we got married,
yeah.
I told Isaac, I was like, you need to go to a strip club. Like,
Really?
and every time he goes to a bachelor party, I'm like, yeah, go for it. Why? Why not?
He's like,
I mean,
I guess I didn't want to.
yeah, it's just like, it's the thing that
Give me some
bothers
singles though.
the thing that bothers me though is that he's gone, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, like how was it? Did you get a lap dance? Whatever. Like I'm pretty open about that. And he was like, yeah. And then like, we started talking. I was like, you started talking to the stripper?
Well, how else is he gonna evangelize?
So that made me more uncomfortable than him just getting a lap dance.
I
That
see
makes
that.
sense though.
Yeah.
That
That
makes
does make
sense.
sense.
So
I get why that would make you uncomfortable.
right?
For
I was
sure.
like,
it's like you're becoming friends with this person.
like you're
Yeah.
getting to know them
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
personally. Like
Just
no.
admire the butt crack, not the
Like,
conversation.
just give her all the dollar bills you have. Just,
Just
like enjoy
go
it. Yeah, entertainment, right?
Yeah.
But don't try to don't ask her about her. Like, don't.
Yeah.
I find out her name.
What's
your
Like, what is she doing? Like, I don't.
What's your Instagram handle?
That made me feel more uncomfortable than him getting a lap dance.
Yeah,
But that makes
okay.
sense.
That does
Yeah.
make
That would
sense.
make anyone uncomfortable.
So that's why I don't think it's that big of a deal for anybody, female, males, whoever, to go into it's entertainment, right? It's
Right.
like your mindset. Like, I'm not going in to find
The love of my
somebody like the love of my life or whatever. It's just like, I'm just here for entertainment. They need my financial support, and I'm just here to have a good time. And it's really a good time.
It might
Have
be a
you-
problem for me though because I'm looking for conversation.
Deal breaker for sure.
I walk in, I'm
Have
like,
you been to a strip club?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Many times.
Oh, many times.
Yeah.
Is male or female or I don't even know the
Both.
difference. Okay.
Because there's a lot in Vegas that do both.
Okay.
It's like downstairs has like the female strippers and the upstairs is the male strippers. So you can kind of like go see both or whatever you're in the mood for. But I think it's just like your mentality. Like, I'm here to have a good time. I'm
Yeah.
here with my girlfriends. Like, we're going to see some strippers. It's like, it's not that big of a deal if you're not, as long as you're not making conversation. I was just like, don't talk to them.
Talk.
Yeah, like don't talk to them. And he's like, but it's more awkward not to talk. I'm like, no, it's better. Just don't talk.
So
It's
what
more
did he
awkward not
talk
to
about?
Yeah.
What did he talk about?
He like asked her like where she's from.
You know
and,
what?
like,
Though? I think I would be the same though.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it would be too like if I just see asses in my face, I'd be like, so how was your day? you know,
I'd be like, oh, you do this really well. Where did you learn this?
yeah, where'd you learn this?
Like,
YouTube, TikTok.
Yeah, like literally. Otherwise, it would be just this. You know, it'd be just staring.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
See, I think that's fine.
like I would just be sitting there, just
sit.
like
Just
like,
sit. Just sit. Just keep your eyes open.
Well,
keep your mouth shut.
It was like keep your mouth shut.
I want to keep my eyes shut and my mouth open. Like, please.
It's kind of like Korea. Remember, we had a session, right? And there was a songwriter who's really known for twerking. So she has like over millions of followers
In Korea?
Yeah, no, she's like a influencer, but she also writes music. So they had her. They invited her to be in the camp. So she came out, and during the session, she just started twerking, with the song.
What?
So she started like, she's got all these moves, everything, and then the producer, the Korean in-house producer, is like, you could tell like he felt extremely uncomfortable, so he kept on like looking away, like he's like, I'm not supposed to, he wants to but I can't, like that kind of thing.
Right.
So but it was just one of those things where it just felt like it was just not the right place, the right time, but that's how I would feel. I feel like part of me would feel like I just don't know if I feel like I'm here for this, like if I was looking for it, but I think that would be good, like
Sure.
But it's like even TikTok, like if I go through, if I see asses, I'm skipping over it because it's not
Right.
something that's like,
I'm gonna comment because I'm trying to conversate.
yeah, it's like
Where you from?
interested in a
Yeah.
conversation, possibly, but yeah, I think it's just also preference, a big part of that. But yeah, I don't know, but I guess you can't say you don't enjoy it or enjoy it
if
until
you have
try
never tried it.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, would your future, your fiance be okay with you going to a strip club?
I don't know if she wouldn't be okay. I actually never talked about it with her. Because I never had the interest to go.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know if I still would. I also don't know if any of the guys that are going to come are interested in doing that as well. Because they're coming from Chicago and Alabama. Like, maybe there's a novelty to it for them. Maybe they want to go.
Yeah.
If they do go, I probably still won't, honestly. Because I just don't really... I don't know. There's something about it that feels dark to me about it. Like, I just kind of feel like, like, I don't know if I, like, really want to look at you. Like,
It's also because I knew this girl growing up. She was so gorgeous, like, so nice. And we were both going to college. Like, we got into the same college. And it was really expensive. And she had to stop and start stripping. And I was just like, that's totally fine. Because I'm like, yeah, like, go support yourself. Like,
yeah.
if that's what you need to do, you're not like having sex with these men or anything. Like, you're not a prostitute. You're just dancing and like showing off what you have. And
so you
and
appreciate
going-
the art form.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay,
See,
so
but
Yeah,
I
or-
I don't
appreciate...
mind what you're saying though. Like
Yeah.
if my friend started
Yeah.
doing it, it's not like I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh no, you're doing a
Yeah.
bad
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think that's the issue there.
Yeah.
either.
I think the thing that I do respect about it,
Yeah.
and the main thing that I respect is that she is earning a living. Like, you must
She's
do
trying
what,
to go to college.
exactly.
You know?
Like, you
Yeah.
must do what you got to do
Yeah.
Yeah.
to earn a living.
Yeah. So these women, like, you don't know but don't ask them what's going on in their life.
Don't talk.
What brought you here? And,
But everyone has their
trying to put
story.
yourself through
Yeah.
See, if you are, then here's
Yeah.
an extra,
Extra dollar.
Yeah. Well, like, these, everyone has their story. I don't think that's like their first choice to be a stripper. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe that is.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm sure everyone has their own story. So it could be a dark place if you kind of like put it like that. But I know people that like just go with girlfriends, just have a drink. Like they won't get a lap dance. They just go for a drink because no one's gonna bother you. No one's gonna try to hit on you or anything
They
like
just
that.
go for the buffet.
Yeah,
I'm not really getting hit on that often anyway. So.
Like, I'm just saying, as like girls, like if you go to Vegas,
Yeah.
it's a big deal because you don't want to pay for a table, so you have to find what is it? Those guys. Oh my god, I forgot the name, but the guys that put you at a table. What is it called?
God, I can't remember.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And so you're like, oh, Joey like wants us to get there at like 9 p.m. you guys, you know?
Yeah.
So you get ready, you get dolled up, and then you're in line, and then you get a free table, whatever. And then you get hit on, and then you have to like go hang out with people you don't really want to hang out with. You just want to hang out with your girlfriends, you know? So we feel like, so we've gone where it's strip clubs will literally send a limo to your hotel, pick you up, and then you get rounds of drinks for free. And you just hang out, and then you go back to your hotel in the limo.
But I
And
feel
it's
like
so
it's
cheap.
different because you're a girl.
Well,
Exactly,
actually,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I think that dynamic is so interesting because if you go out,
Yeah.
you want to go out with your girlfriends and have a
Right.
really good time, right?
Yeah.
When guys go out,
Yeah.
it's for one reason only.
Yeah.
It's to find girls. Like,
But at your bachelor party, what is the reason you think that?
oh, it's to just hang out with friends that I haven't seen in a long time and just crack jokes about the past, make fun of each other, be super
Yeah.
nerdy, and then just go back home.
See, that's why it's fascinating that you're choosing Vegas.
Yeah.
Because Isaac was the same way. He was like, oh, we've been to Vegas so many times. Like, we just want to hang out with the guys.
Yeah.
So he went to San Francisco, and then they flew kites.
That's awesome. Wait, awesome kites?
Like, just like kites, like normal kites. And then they went to a baseball
There are
game.
levels of kites.
Oh, I mean, I don't
You guys
know.
gotta
little,
like,
little
yeah.
dinky kites.
Yeah, I mean,
I-
it's like, if
Yeah.
it's just like diamond shaped, then that's kind of lame.
I mean, I'm sorry to say, I don't know, but I was just like, and then, but that was that's a good reason because he's already done the whole like bachelor party in Vegas and done all
I have a
that.
theory. So I think if you're in an environment, like let's say there's a marriage environment where you're not supposed to like look at porn, you're not supposed to look at girls. Well,
Yeah.
well then that could be like kind of like that exhilarating factor, right? Like as kids, like we watch porn and we go like, oh, we have
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
look. We want to look just because we're not supposed to, right?
Right.
So I feel like if you're still in that environment, then
Yeah.
I think you can find some sort of like rush from that kind of experience.
Yeah,
I think my mentality about like a bachelor party
Yeah.
is like, if I had a choice,
Yeah.
if bachelor parties were not even a norm, if
Yeah,
they weren't
yeah.
a thing that just normally happens,
Yeah.
like I probably wouldn't even have one. But it's like,
yeah. You don't need to.
yeah, but because we are gonna have one, like I just want it to be the most enjoyable experience for everybody, and like
Oh, right. Okay, so
almost
you're
like a wholesome
accommodating, like you're accommodating your friends rather than like this is something that you want to do.
for sure, yeah. Because if it was me,
Yeah.
just go there and talk to some girls.
Right. Okay. I see.
How much for a conversation? Now we're laughing. It's
How
like,
much for 5 questions?
I don't want you to
Yeah.
take your
Yeah.
clothes off. I
Yeah,
want to
just-
get to know
just-
you.
just talk.
Where'd you get this thong? Like, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about the heels first.
Because I have the same one.
Those are fabulous.
Yeah.
about.
Where did you go on your bachelor party?
So I went to San Diego.
Okay.
So we went go-karting and we did boat riding.
Okay.
And we had steak dinner. So that was
That's nice.
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
So that was so that was fun. But
Yeah.
the most I'm gonna say the most fun bachelor party I've been to.
Yeah.
It wasn't my own, but my bachelor party was really really fun. But and I want to go around to see what the most fun that you guys went to. But
It included strippers.
no, mine was we were in Arizona. My friend was getting married. We went out to the middle of the desert and he just had a bunch of guns and we just blew stuff up for hours. It was freaking awesome. And then we
In
had
bikinis.
we were wearing bikinis. But then so we did that and then after that we went to like a casino buffet and then
Oh, okay.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
And that was one of the most fun things I've ever done.
Yeah.
Also, like Sam and I, we're in the music industry, so we're
Yeah.
always around like just loud,
Yeah. Yeah.
environments.
Yeah.
So I think for me personally, like I wanted like kind of like the other way around, like
Yeah.
especially at the time,
Quiet.
like quiet, just
Yeah.
less noise. We don't have to have music on, like
Yeah.
and it was so low key,
Silence.
silent. We're just like holding hands,
Yeah, maybe holding hands.
yeah,
And then someone tries to talk, you're like, shh.
No talking.
yeah, no talking,
Yeah, just shaking.
shaking without music. We're just dancing without music. But yeah, it was very low key, and I think and I remember like people were like, you don't want to do stuff, like you don't want to go to Vegas. I was like, honestly, I don't. I just
Yeah.
feel like this is good. Like this is how I want to remember.
Of course.
But yeah, I mean,
In other words, we're boring as hell.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's totally fine. I think a lot of guys from like the Midwest kind of, will want to rush over to Vegas to have that
That's
Vegas bachelor party, the stuff that they've seen in movies.
Hangover.
Yeah.
And
Hangover.
I've seen guys get that.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I feel like they probably, you know, are regretting it at some point in their life, because I just see so much happen.
I think that's the danger, though, right? Because you're kind of like just flirting with your boundaries a little bit.
Yeah.
And you can make a mistake by one move.
Yeah.
You know, I think for some people, like, you know, they just prefer not to even just be around that, to just kind of cross the line, right?
Yeah.
And then there's others that are like, they like that thrill, and they even like the idea of the fact that they could slip, you know, but everything stays in Vegas.
Yeah, but like, do you think that's true? Like a hall pass for bachelorette parties?
I don't think that's true. I don't think it's true if it stays on your conscience. Like, like the fact remains that if you do something very naughty, you did do that. You know. On top of that, if you're trying to just stuff it, being like, well, it doesn't count and
Because
whatever, I feel like you're kind of lying to yourself. Like, it's
for sure.
You know, like, be honest.
But I see that.
If, like, you would give your husband or future husband. Or
No. I'm just asking, like, in general.
Do you give yourself a hall pass?
No, like that. And do you think that it's okay for the other person to have it? Because I feel like whenever I go to Vegas, not bachelorette party, not bachelor party, or a bachelorette party, I see that a lot happening. Like, they will just like let loose because they're like, it's my bachelorette, it's my bachelor party.
I have a question then. Do you know somebody that flirted with the line and went too far?
Yeah.
Okay, call them out right now.
What's their name?
I do, but it wasn't to the fact that I think there's definitely a line, you know, and then it's hard to say, but yes, I do know somebody, and I know that they regret it, but you know, it happened, and that's why I asked, like, is there a hall pass? Because I feel like that happens a lot.
So, okay. Yeah. I think that if you are clear with that with your fiance,
your significant other,
then I think that is okay. But then if you yourself are ashamed of it, then then like that weighs on yourself. And if it's something that you did and you don't tell, then that's like you're starting your marriage off on a lie.
Part of that shame has to have something to do with how you can't tell your significant other.
Yeah. You can't be honest. Yeah.
So
but
like,
that happens so much.
Sex as you want. This is the last time you get
but not only sex though. I feel like it's just
conversation.
It's like if you ask where are you from, you're cheating. No, but you know what? I see so many people like even just like making out at the club.
Right.
Like I think that's cheating. You know, that's why I say there's different like degrees and lines, right?
Oh, definitely.
And the people that I know that have made mistakes, it's never like gone to the point where like they, you know, went to bed together. But it was definitely like, oh, like making out and like, you know, getting numbers. And I'm like, oh, what are you gonna do with that? like I just, that's why I asked.
That is definitely, I do consider that to be cheating. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, it is not to the level of the, you know, sex, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It is. So
If
they regret that, then that's still, you know, regret. Then that's something that they didn't want to do. They thought they shouldn't do.
Yeah, for sure. Like cheating is cheating. And you know, like growing up, people are like, oh, we hooked up. I still to this day don't know what that means.
I think it means sex.
Depends on your age.
Do you really? Like if you say, oh, we made out, right?
I always considered it sex.
Really?
Hooked up when I was in high school meant sex.
Really? Okay.
In high school?
Wow.
Yeah, high school.
Yeah.
Not for you?
I thought they were just grabbing titties or something. Like I didn't know that.
No, I'm pretty sure they're having sex.
yeah.
I mean, I didn't ask them for more details, so I don't know.
So in your
Details,
mind, you just say like, oh, we hooked up is we had sex.
Because if you say make out, then why don't you just say make out?
Yeah.
We'll make out and maybe do other things, but not sex.
Here's what it is. When guys...
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
But see, guys, they want to kind of like show off, right? So they'll say hook up sounds more serious, like more deeper than it is just kissing, right?
Sure.
So that's why the word hookup can mean like something more than just kissing, right?
Yeah.
So like, I think that anything more than making out could be considered hookup. You're right, for sure. But then that's a pretty, I mean, that's if you don't go to fourth base, right? If you don't go home run, that's still pretty far. You know,
Yeah.
you've gone pretty
Yeah.
far. So like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's you could consider that to be hookup. And that I
I
would,
still don't know. See, like we're in our 30s, we still don't know what
That's
because I don't think there was a definition.
Yeah.
there
Maybe it's on
isn't.
Urban Dictionary. You know?
Oh, yeah, maybe we
Kissing
should-
isn't hooking up though, right?
No, that's
it's like
making
only
out.
if like your
That's-
pelvis is kissed, then it's like hooking up.
See, I know I consider making out hooking up.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I always just thought of
That's
it
just-
like
that's
that.
just
Like,
how you-
oh, like, cause I didn't, you know, growing up, you're like, oh, like we kissed. That felt so weird. Like, oh, we hooked up.
Oh no, like
Everyone just said it like, oh yeah, we hooked up. Or we hung out.
Maybe it's
We
just
hung out,
it's
we
like a
hooked
school
up.
thing because our like
Yeah.
well
maybe
we
it
went
was
to the
a
same school,
thing.
but
That's true.
for my year, like hookup just meant like you guys are doing it. You
Yeah,
know?
doing something definitely more than
Yeah.
making out. That was my school. It was
Okay.
more than making out, 100%.
Okay.
But like you're right, it could have been varying degrees of hooking
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Not
Yeah.
maybe not all the way to sex, but
Yeah.
it
Right.
might have been
You're right.
something, a version of it. You know,
Yeah.
so
You know what's interesting is like we talked about Vegas. We talked about the lines that the people like people just flirt with,
Yeah.
and so like what about actors that have to like do sex
Oh,
scenes and
yeah.
kissing because like sure it's just work is
Yeah.
being professional, but we don't know what they're actually feeling.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's kind of because it's like I trust you, go to Vegas, do your thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like for actors it's kind of similar. It's
Yeah.
like go do your thing.
That's
you
why
know?
people don't make it, relationships don't last in Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood stuff.
Yes.
So like I think there are certain actors who like don't kiss like other actors or actresses.
They
really?
like use a stunt.
Yeah, they use like a stunt because it's
Oh.
like they make it very clear, and then they just go from the back of the head, so you can't tell it's not them.
That's an interesting job. Do you
Yeah.
kiss?
Yeah, yeah. We just need you to make out.
Yeah.
That, I think that's like a thing for some of them.
Okay.
I know it's pretty rare. It's not most people don't do
Yeah,
that.
because most of them are down.
Yeah.
That's why they started
Yeah.
acting.
Yeah.
This actress like, and I want to.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think you have to just acknowledge the fact that like you're with an actor or actress and that's bound to happen.
Yeah.
Like I also think that if you're with an athlete, you're going to get cheated on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
And
agree.
you just have to accept
I-
that.
Yeah, like if you're down to be in a relationship with an athlete, you're going to get cheated on.
That's
Because they're
You're in
just
an open
traveling-
relationship.
They're
Yeah.
traveling all the time.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like why are you surprised? I
and
don't
they're-
know.
I agree because I think they're much closer to that line.
Yeah.
They're definitely like on the line. I think because you have girls
Drawing
just
themselves.
like literally waiting in their
Line.
hotel
Yeah,
room.
yeah, yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So I know there's an athlete that would just fly his wife just around every single game just so that he has accountability.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
it's that extreme, then I'm pretty sure like it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
yeah.
I think
I
that's
think
the
so.
only way to you have to keep your spouse with you at all times in order to.
Yeah,
But that means she has like no life other than
that's true.
I mean, the season's not
That's rough.
all the time, but yeah, that
yeah,
would be rough for sure.
yeah. Well, going back to like younger people, I hear that they are no longer in serious relationships. They don't just date one person.
I heard that too.
Really?
And how do you feel about that?
It's like group relationships.
Yeah,
which
like
is
you just
so-
you don't. There's no
What?
title. Like no boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Like I just hang out, talk to whoever, how many people I want.
Who was it?
What do you
Really?
think? Yeah.
No, I saw something. Oh my god, who was it? It was somebody famous.
Willow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Willow.
I whip my hair.
Yeah, that one. She's what is the term? Polyamorous.
Yeah.
So like,
What is that?
It's like you're in
You're
relationships
just-
with a bunch of different people. And
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Okay, well, no, see, that's a little bit. Yeah, well, she's dating different genders. I'm just asking, like,
No, like at the same time though.
Yeah, but like different. She's dating women and men
Yeah.
at the same time. They're like majority of younger kids now, like high school, teens, right?
Yeah.
Even if they're straight, they will date different men. Like, it's not. I'm not talking about like, yeah.
So you're talking about a girl will date different men. Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you'll never find a girl dating, like having like a like one serious boyfriend.
Huh.
So they'll be dating different men at the same time.
Yeah, is that hard for you to like?
No,
Yeah,
I understand. what you're
because you
saying.
know what? Like, I feel like we should have seen it coming. Because like, think about it. Like, my parents are divorced, okay? And so when I think of a marriage, a healthy marriage, I have no idea what that is. No idea what that looks like. And my parents, they stayed together, but I'm pretty sure they had no idea what a healthy, good marriage looked like either. So obviously down the line, no one has a good, depiction of what a healthy marriage or relationship, how to, get through arguments or conflicts really looks like, right? So I'm just yeah, that makes so much sense. Obviously the younger generation, they're learning a lot from the mistakes or the things that we've gone through and our parents have gone through. So they're choosing not to commit because they just think it's not worth it.
Interesting.
I think when you mentioned that, the first thing that came to my mind was online app dating.
Oh, right.
Because I almost feel like that kind of gave birth to that mentality as well.
Yeah.
Because when you're on, I don't know, I might be the only one out of this group that ever online dated. I don't know. But
yeah, I've never.
Because even for a lot of my friends, they were in the generation where they got married before it ever was invented.
Yeah.
So for me, I was still single when it was invented. So I'm all right, let me get on this.
Which one did you use?
Grinder only. I'm just kidding. I use
nothing wrong with Grinder.
That's how I don't understand.
Oh, I think it's an app for gay guys.
Oh, that's from The Office. They made that joke in The Office.
It's a great app. It's a great app.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly don't have any interest in getting on that because I'm only interested in women. But I did go on Tinder.
Okay.
And Bumble.
Oh. Uh-huh. What about Coffee Meets Bagel?
I did Coffee Meets Bagel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, one of the first questions that are asked, when you hang out with somebody.
Yeah.
And if you guys actually click, right?
Okay.
They ask you how many other people are you talking to?
Oh, and what do you say?
I'm like 10. No, I'm just kidding. I say however many I'm talking to, I say oh yeah, there's several, there's like 3 or 4 or whatever, because at the time it's not a commitment.
Right.
You're on a date, Okay. So so I'll be honest. I'm well, I am talking to these people, but I have to be honest, I might not want to talk to them, or
you're the one.
Yeah, it's you are the one. Do you want to see the ring now, or so?
I've had it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I say that to each and every single one.
Of course you do. Of course.
But I do think if you were to take advantage of that,
yeah,
and because no one's really keeping you accountable.
Yeah.
So if you want to take full advantage of that, you could really just be in multiple relationships at the same time.
Of course, yeah.
And so it's almost if you look at it from that perspective, the way that these kids are handling multiple relationships, but honestly, it's almost a step up from that type of sneaky behavior.
Exactly.
Although I personally think it's much better if you were to be in just one exclusive relationship.
But as a teen, I kind of like what they're doing. I mean, it doesn't help later on in the future when they eventually possibly want to just be with one person. But at the same time, I see so many people, when I was younger, I had lots of boyfriends, not at the same time, but I've been in relationships. And because my mom and dad met each other when they were 19, and they dated for 9 years and they got married. And so they were never with other people. And my mom was you should just date a lot of people, because in order to find somebody that fits you or learn about relationships and how to kind of coexist with somebody, you have to meet a lot of people, and not just friendships, but really go on dates and hang out. And I really took that and ran with it because I thought she was 100% right. Because if I married the guy that my first boyfriend, yeah, it would not. My life.
What was he like?
Yeah.
Let's give him a shout out.
No, actually, though, my high school boyfriend, I dated him for all throughout high school, on and off, and I really thought I was gonna marry him because.
You're in high school.
That's what it is. First real love, right?
We all think that.
But at the same time, I really loved him as a person because, I just genuinely still to this day think he's a great guy. We're still friends. He's married too. I think he's a great guy and I'm so happy for him. And I wish the best for him. But I think if we would have stayed together, it would have been really, really bad, you know? And so that's why I think it's really great that these teens are like, oh no, I'm not going to just like stick to one relationship. I'm going to, you know, talk to whoever, as many people as I want, female, male, whoever. How do I know if I want to just stick to one gender? You know, but I say this and I say this to my husband and I say this like, you know, sometimes like Isaac would say, Winter, you know, when you get, my daughter, Winter, when you get married, something about like for sure it being a man. And I will say, or woman. And he kind of like takes a step back and he's like, so you want our daughter to be a lesbian? I'm like, I want my daughter to be whoever she wants to be. But I don't want to determine that and brainwash her because I really feel like a lot of us growing up, we've been brainwashed, right? To think a certain way and to be attracted to certain things, right? And so I think that's really great that teens are looking at us and like, oh yeah, these people are really messed up. I'm not going to be like that.
Yeah, I think it does matter what the intention is for the end goal. Like, if these teens are hanging out with a bunch of people romantically, with the mindset of like, I want to find out what doesn't work with me, what does work with me,
right?
And I want to end up with somebody and be happy eventually from all these lessons that I'm learning.
Right.
Or are you just trying to perpetually be in like these multiple at the same time relationships and just, you know, in this kind of, I would say it's kind of messy, you know? Like,
I agree with what you're saying.
I don't think that is like super healthy. But yeah, it just depends on what the intention is.
But like, so I was in a serious relationship all throughout high school, like on and off, because we kept breaking up. Like during like every period, we're like, oh, let's just break up. You know, get back together during lunch.
Keeps it fresh.
But I remember because we were together, I felt pressure to like lose my virginity. You know, like I think if maybe I would have waited a little bit longer if I had maybe just not have tried to become an adult so fast.
Right.
Like I was trying to reenact this like relationship of like a 20-something-year-old.
And you're committing too fast.
And like because that's what you felt like you had to do because everyone's like, oh, you know, you guys have been together for like 2 years. What have you done?
Right.
You know?
Women especially, I feel like feel that pressure. You know, it's like, have you giving your flower to them, as friends would say.
And I'm sure guys felt that same pressure too, you know? And so that pressure, because I don't necessarily think like kids, just because they're dating multiple people doesn't mean that they're having sex with all of them. You know, they could just be hanging out, which I think might be even better than that pressure of having to be this adult and live this like adult relationship type of life, you know? So I think it could be better, but who knows? I mean,
I think Sam was right though, in terms of it's the mentality. Like, what are you going into it like thinking about? Are you thinking about like, if what you're saying, if like you're going into because you want to relieve the pressure and you want to really know, find out more about yourself, then I think that's the right mentality to go into.
Well, I don't think I knew anything about myself when I was like 16. I was still trying to figure out
that's
what
exactly.
I liked.
So if you go into it with like, you know, dating around in that way, and with that real understanding, then I think that that's the best way. But like once again, if it's just to like do whatever you want all the time, then I think that can become problematic, especially down the line.
But you do bring up a great point where it's like, you know, why would a 16-year-old woman that doesn't really know herself put herself through all these expectations of being grown as hell? Like you have all these grown responsibilities now, and you don't need that. And so with that in mind, like what the kids are doing now in terms of just, you know, kind of dating and seeing what they like, maybe they're just acting their age, you know?
And that's totally fine. That's something that was so foreign to us. I feel like it's that we weren't, I don't know, allowed to do that. I feel like we just had to grow up so fast.
Oh, I mean, growing up in an Asian household, like you don't date until you're done with college. You know, you
so
don't
I didn't, my parents were not like that.
Really?
My boyfriend, ex-boyfriend would always come over. My parents, like really liked him. It was like we were totally open. I had parties and they knew about it. And because I think I was really responsible. I did everything that I needed to do. I just so I think it's because my mom grew up super like her parents were super strict that she rebelled so much.
Okay.
So she was like, I never want to put that pressure on you for you to have to feel like you have to rebel. And I actually never like rebelled. I never like, did anything like that where, cause I never had that pressure. I was like, oh, I'll just ask my mom or I'll just ask my dad.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the kind of relationship that I want to have with my kids. For
Yeah.
them to be open. Cause like you had that comment about like, your kid being like homosexual or not. Like,
Yeah.
And that was because I actually had that conversation with another friend of mine. Like, would you be okay with that? And I was like, because I'm younger, but then like I guess I still grew up in an Asian household, so I do have a slightly old school mentality. But then I was like, no, I mean, it'd be kind of tough, but I think I'd be okay with it.
It sucks for them. Like you feel sad because I know that life is going to be tougher. Life is already hard, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be obstacles that are already hard. To be quote unquote different, I just am like, oh God, it's just going to be a little bit tougher for you.
Yeah.
That's why it makes me, that's how I answer it. Like, I don't care whatever they want to become. Like, I just want them to be happy.
Exactly, yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, man, that is a tough life, because the people are still like, that's a choice.
Yeah.
And, they'll say things, whatever they feel like is correct in their eyes. And so it's going to be a tougher life. Right?
As for Isaac's perspective, he comes from a Christian standpoint, right? Like a traditional biblical Christian perspective.
He didn't grow up in a Christian household though, really.
But when he comes at the angle of like, your future husband, when he talks to Winter. Is he coming at it from that traditional Christian perspective, or is he?
Is it Asian, Christian, like traditional Asian perspective, maybe?
I just think that I don't know if it's like an Asian perspective or a Christian or anything. He just thinks that that's like normal, and he's like, my kids are normal, so like why put that option out? Maybe I don't know. I don't think Isaac would never be against it, but he was just like, why do you say that? Like there's no need for you to bring it up. And maybe he's right, because I even say like things like, oh, when he goes, oh, when you guys go to college, can I come with you guys? It's really cute because like he just wants to follow them. But I'm like, well, what if they don't go to college? and then so that's when
that might be unnecessary.
Well, but that's the thing, because
might be obsolete.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't know.
That's true. It might be.
You don't know, right? So I'm always like, I don't want to instill any type of expectation from my kids. Like that's the thing. When you put an expectation on the table, like, oh, my parents expect me to go to college because they keep bringing it up, even at a young age. Like that's going to be tough for them. Right? Yeah. Because they're going to be like, oh, am I not listening to my parents because I'm choosing not to go to college?
Yeah.
Or am I making them happy because I am going to college? What if that's not what they want to do? So whatever decision that they make, I want them to have every option open and available, and them we'll try to, of course, guide them in whatever direction we feel like is fitting for them or however they feel. But at the same time, I don't want to set any expectations for them.
You don't want to oppress them.
Yeah.
I want to, kind of what we were saying before, I want to be able to have the type of relationship with them where they feel comfortable telling me anything. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that, or I am this, or I am that. And I'd be like, oh, okay. And then just because I know that I wasn't like that with my parents. I was not open with them because I remember getting rejected a couple times when I said I want to be a director or I want to be an actor or something like that. And they'd be like, that's a terrible decision. I was like, okay, I'm not going to tell you anything ever again, kind of thing. It's not like I had a bad relationship with I didn't have a good relationship with my dad, but I had a good relationship with my mom. But even she said something like that, coming from a very traditional Asian perspective, that's an impossible job, kind of thing.
Right.
So her saying that even once, it's not like she was constantly telling me that, but then just her telling me one time was enough for me to not go back to her for that kind of conversation.
See, that sucks. That, this is a conversation that I had with Isaac couple days ago where, I feel like our parents, we kind of look at them, we're like, oh, they're our parents. We can't ask them for help. We can't bother them. Or, there could be this mentality, especially with, I see that with men, I have my own household. I want to support my family. I don't need my parents to support me. But at the same time, like, you know, if our kids, like if Jordan grew up saying the same thing, like, oh, I don't need my dad's help, I think Isaac would be so sad because Isaac and I work so hard, and we try to give Jordan and Winter everything that they could possibly want. You know, like we work so hard for that. And if one day they're like, we don't need your financial support, or we don't need your help in any type of way, we would feel so sad, right? And I always think about that. So I'm actually very close to my parents, and I actually really pretty close to Isaac's dad. And I call his dad and ask him for mental support, like just any type of support, because he gives me support that I couldn't get from my parents, because he knows Isaac in a different, way. So I am like, you know, you should reach out to your dad a little bit more and not feel bad. If he gives you money, you're almost 40 and you get money from your dad, that's not an embarrassment. You should thank him because he wanted to do that. He wants to support you in that way. So he was like, oh yeah, you know, thank you for saying that. Because I always think about like when Jordan and Winter grow up, I want them to be like, hey mom, I need like whatever, $100 because I want to do something. Like, okay. Because the fact that they're opening up, telling me that they need something from me, and then in that way, I'll be like, oh, what do you need? What do you need it for?
Right.
And then that more conversations will open up rather than like not telling me anything. They don't need me, you know?
I would imagine that if a son were to kind of say, I don't need any financial help from my parents, a lot of times it might come from a standpoint of, I don't want them to be burdened. I don't want them to suffer more, work even harder than they have to, especially at their older age.
Totally get it.
For the sake of benefiting me. You know,
Totally get it.
I should be helping them by not needing them anymore.
Yeah, but then, you know, I tell this to my dad, and so him and I are very open, and I said like, why do you work so hard? Like, and he gives my kids like money all the time, right? I'm like, don't do that. Like, just use your money. And he's like, I have my money that I need for my retirement or whatever in my future, but this is my joy. Like because especially as men, right? Like as like the breadwinner, let's just say, you work your whole life basically to support your family. And then at one point it might stop. And then there's nothing else. So the fact that he gets to come every other week and give my kids money, buy them toys, take me out to lunch, at first I was like, don't pay for that. And he's like, why do you do that? That makes me feel very uncomfortable, or it makes me feel awkward. That's what he said. And I was like, well, I don't want you to work so hard for me. And he's like, no, I'm working hard for me and us.
Right.
And I think we forget that.
Because he feels fulfillment from that.
Exactly. And we're not asking them for a lot either. Like, you know, like, I think some people could take advantage of that, you know? And I think I see that. It's definitely not like that with us. We're just like, you know, there has to be this relationship that you keep going with it, because it's like my dad supported me when I was a child. He still wants to take me out to dinner, and I have to be okay with that. You know? So, you know, when their birthday comes or Father's Day, whatever, you can give them whatever you want to give them, and they will be thankful. But at the same time, if they want to give you something, you have to take it too.
Right. At a certain point, it's not about providing because of need. It's about giving and accepting out of thankfulness and, you know, a good heart. So, yeah, I definitely get that. Yeah.
And I think that's the conversation that we had to have a couple days ago. And it really helped us because, you know, I think we just forget. Like, as much as we love our kids, our parents love us just as much, or, you know, so, yeah.
That's very true.
Where are the tissues?
But I'm really glad though that Soojin brought up, like, you know, all these different subjects that are so important, and I don't think we talk enough about things like mental health and these areas that are so important. So I'm really, you know, I appreciate that, you know, you just bring up these very important topics that, you know, I think so many people can just listen to and connect with, and just really feel like, yeah, they're not the only ones that feel this way or find some of the conflicts in life.
Yeah, I think, mental illness is definitely something that I have been talking about a lot, as you know. And so, because I feel like it's so new to me.
Yeah.
And for the past like few years, I have been having to research more about it and learn more about it and just be more aware. But it's, majority of people have mental illness, and people just, it's hard to talk about. It, like therapy is hard to talk about, but that it shouldn't be like that, because we all need it. We go to the doctors, like for a physical. You should see it there. Everyone should see a therapist, and just get the advice. You don't have to take it. Like, I didn't take the advice from my therapist telling me to leave my husband, because ultimately it's your decision, right? But at the same time, like, you should ask for professional help, because that is something that they are more educated on.
Yeah.
So it's good to talk to people about that.
Yeah, and I think with that, we can probably end this episode.
Really?
With that PSA.
That was
definitely get
really good.
Well over an hour,
Yeah.
actually. Wow.
I can honestly say that that's probably one of the best episodes. Right? It was just really, that was full of a lot of really important subjects and information that it was just so open, for us to just share that kind of stuff. So I really appreciate you for sharing.
Of course. Thank you for inviting
those things.
me.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
All right, so see you all next time.
Make
Thank you
sure
for tuning in to Loud Snackers.
and make sure to comment if you do relate and
subscribe.
Subscribe.
Yeah, let's converse.
Conversation's
Yeah,
important.
don't just look. Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.